As we all know, data is called the new world currency nowadays. All users consume data in one way or another. Data surrounds us, it's everywhere, whether it's your product labels or organization reports. They are present everywhere, whether it's even in the equipments in form of sensors, controller. Sometimes it could be difficult to even present those data in an appropriate way, which is why we need some sort of a visual representation to help our users understand the data quickly. And that is where diagrams, data grids, graphs, charts all come into play, which is why we need some sort of a way to present the data in React. One of the famous library for the charts is FusionCharts, and there are ways by which you can use. In fact, there are packages by which you can use Fusion charts in your React projects. Let's see how it can be done. So, firstly, you should, if in case you are not familiar what Fusion Charts is, you should actually visit fusioncharts.com and try and understand how you can represent the data. You can not only use Fusion Charts within the React, you can even use in your other projects, which could be which are using JavaScript or any other language or framework. Now let's see how you can install Fusion Charts in your project. So firstly, what you need is you need to actually there is a documentation which you can follow, and within the documentation you can easily see what you need to do. So firstly, go to your terminal. So we go into our project, and then we go into our app folder, my app. Once we are there, now within that, we are going to just copy this and place this over here. Uh, for saving the time, I have actually already set the Fusion charts up. So, I mean, you just need to hit enter, and then your packages will be installed. Now, to check whether your package is installed successfully or not, you can go in and check via the package.json, and you will see React Fusion Charts and its related version over there. Now let's try and actually follow the documentation, and you will see how easy it is to actually include it within our project. So step number one, import React from React. Okay, let's just create a functional component. That'd be the best way to start with. We will call it chart.js, and within it we are going to use function React functional component. And okay, so we have the chart with us, and then we're going to import it to app.js. So import chart from component slash chart. Now, next thing, obviously, we will use the chart over here and see whether it's functional or not. Okay, so no data is visible. Let's see. We haven't placed anything. Okay, so great. We have our component running in. Now the next step is to actually start importing data. So we already have imported the step number one, which is include React. It's done. Number two is include the React Fusion Charts component. So you're going to import that. Step three, include Fusion Chart library. So we're going to import that. Then step four is to include a chart type. So if let's suppose you are using column 2D, you can actually do that. And then step five, include the theme. So we will include that. Then you have adding the chart and theme as dependency to the core function. So step six over here, above the function, you should do this. So once this is done, the next step is obviously to prepare your data. So you can have this data in any form, whether it could be an Excel sheet or something, but there is a way that this data needs to be placed in. So let's suppose, so here we go, where above the return, we will have this chart data, and then we will actually create the configuration file. So now if you see above the return, we will actually have the configuration file. And then finally, we are going to render this chart. So the way this is going to be done, it is that we are going to go over here, return, and we're going to change this over. Now, if you look at your chart should be ready. Let's see how it works, whether this works or not. Okay, so chart configuration is over there, column 2D. So yes, we have our charts ready. So this is how you can include this. Let's try and explore some more charts over here. So for that, we will go back to the documentation. And over here, you can actually use configuring your charts by chart type. Let's go to list of charts, and then so once we are over there, I guess we have reached. Okay, so we were using column 2D, and the first thing you should change is, I will call it charts rather than column, because this particular um, you can say file has multiple charts options available to us. So okay, so we go back to it. We can try out the column 3D depending upon the slug, because sometimes it's hard to find them. Let's try and check whether this functions or not, the column 3D. So we have a 3D column, and maybe we can check with the pi 2D. If you just see, there's a slug which is given JavaScript alias, so you can use it. So I'm just going to go back and we'll reference pi 2D over here, and we'll actually try and see the example. So let's try and get the data and see whether this requires the same sort of a data or not. So value, label, and the value. So we had the label and the value, so it should work. And captions, sub captions. Okay, maybe this we can just copy and can replace chart configurations. So let's just do that, captions and everything, and let's just make it back and see. Oh, so this it seems it's, oh yeah, it's active. So our pie chart is active even. We can go in back and explore maybe one or two more types, and then I'll let it to you guys to actually go and play with this fusion charts. Okay, so pi 3D, it's going to be work similar. I'm sure you're just going to replace pi 3D over here, and that should function fine. um, so this is good. Next is your dog nut. Okay, so I guess for this, the data should be a bit different. Let's see. Uh, chart data is same, so it should function fine. So we have this. So this is all good even. So there are other, I mean, there are tons of, you can say, options available. You can actually go and play around with them, and I hope this will help you in the project.